Usually I come over here and I catch the solitude. And this solitude right here, hey, it just allows me to compartmentalize everything that I got going on in my life because there'd be so much stuff going on in all these different areas. But, you know, I was sitting back thinking the other day and I was thinking about, when I was incarcerated, that, for 11 and a half years, we didn't have no female contact whatsoever. I mean, we had females that worked as guards. We had females that worked as, kitchen workers. We had females that worked, staff throughout the facility. But like you could never have like an intimate relationship. If you had an intimate relationship or they caught wind of like anything going on, you were gonna get booked. They were gonna pack you out. They was gonna put you in the hole, and they was gonna take all your stuff, and then you wouldn't be able to do nothing with it. So, and then also, the guard would catch a charge. The guard would catch a real life felony in the county that the prison was in. So, for 11 and a half years, you had to have a relationship if you had one with a woman, via letters, maybe a weekend visit. And the craziest thing about having a relationship in the penitentiary is that, you really get to know somebody. You ain't got nothing but time to learn one another. So, you get to learn a person. And, with letters, when you put the pen to the pad, you kind of like the mind and body connection. It makes you really dig deep. So, you got to come across vivid in the letters that you write. And while I was incarcerated, I had a couple different girlfriends, and they all lasted different amounts of time, and they all had, you know, different motives. I think, looking back on it for dating me while I was incarcerated, and talking about motive, when you really are dating someone in prison, it always can be misconstrued, as there are a lot of people in the penitentiary that prey on people, because at the end of the day, people have no contact. I remember there were stories about people getting the yellow pages, and they get the yellow pages, and what they would do is, they would dial all these numbers, yellow, white pages, whatever you want to call it, and they would dial these numbers randomly from the pay phones and hit on these women and stuff, and it's comical, but when you're trapped away from the world, and as a man or woman, you have an urge, you have a chemistry, not to be able to, even touch that side of yourself, no pun intended. I mean, you literally can't bring that side out because there's no place to really, no platform to execute it, but on a pen and pad, through the thoughts, through the emotions. And it's crazy because, getting out in the world, when you get a real relationship, there's so much more stimulus. There's so many more demands that go on because, through a prison relationship, like, you don't really got to worry about the person all day, all night. Like, you worry about a person for, like, the time you see them, the time you talk on the phone, and, these little short bursts of time. But in real life, you got a whole day going on. You got all kind of situations happening. You got, kids going to school. You got, cuddling. You got all these little things that are like the real, tie, the real pieces of a relationship. So it's like, I look back at that stuff and it blows my mind, how many relationships I had via, snail mail, or a couple pictures here and there, or a visit every month. And, those things went a long ways because, in a world that's so cold like prison, a place where you don't even have a platform to express that other side of you that lives inside of you, like, man, that stuff goes away a long ways because it keeps you connected. It keeps you connected with yourself. I think relationships, period, point blank, though, I mean, like, the business side, all this stuff, like getting back on my own 2 feet, being secure and self-sufficient, like, all that stuff kind of came kind of easy. Like, I prepared for that. I built myself into that man that has the characteristics and, gets up early and does what needs to be done, and goes the extra mile. Like, that's just the nature of who I am. But, like, to deal with an interpersonal relationship and get out here and have to meet those demands and, become that type of partner or person that another person wants, man, it's been a hassle. It's been a frustration, and it's been a roadblock in a lot of degrees, just as much as it's been good. The good times is great. There's been a lot of memories. There's been a lot of stuff, a whole lot. Like, and, some things you can't never take away. And the price of the memory by itself is worth more than gold. So I could never like rule out, being in a relationship since I've been out. But like, being in a relationship has probably been the hardest thing for me, really, because at the end of the day, I mean, I see similarities in a relationship that remind me of prison. It reminds me of the guards that used to come by and tell me to do certain stuff, or like uh, just the overall pretense of where I'm at doing time. Like I don't, you get with somebody to, pretty much, at least for me, to compliment you, to, what I mean, bring out those good sides and all that stuff. You don't ever want to have somebody that's constantly critical of you, that's constantly, on you for your errors or your ways, or, I get it that you want to have helping somebody become who you think they're supposed to become, but at the end of the day, like, that seed is already a seed, and it's going to blossom the way it's supposed to do with God's grace, and you can't never take that away. These are just the natures of the universe, right? So, like, at the end of the day, that's the area I always strive to improve on right there, because, I strive for that. As a man, I strive for intimacy with a woman. I strive to have that feeling of her soft skin, and see that warm glow of her eyes. I strive for that, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make somebody just as happy as they make me in my relationship. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's the stuff I'm always using to measure my relationships and see where I'm at, because, happiness is key to me. And I know myself. I know what triggers me. I know what irritates me. I know what my pet peeves are. And, at the end of the day, I think I'm a pretty good catch my damn self. You could be of my age bracket, 30 plus, but your mind state, your ambition, your drive, like, it's not there. Your personality is like, it's bland, it's surface. I'm not looking for no surface relationships. Man, I got too many of those right now. Ain't got no more room for that. When I was incarcerated, like I said, I had a few different pen pals, and women used to come up there and see me. And I was with her, probably like, I want to say like 2 years and some change. And, when I say with her, I mean like, she come up like every other weekend. She sent letters, she put a little money on the phone, and, just kind of like mentally there for you, like hear about how your week is, or, little small stuff like that goes a long ways. And, how that ended, I still don't really know to this day. I mean, she was a good person and everything like that. All I remember was like, it was like Christmas, and I tried to call one day and never could get through. Then after that, could never get through. Shot a couple letters, making sure everything all right, so forth. Finally just had to take the hint. This like kind of like around Christmas and stuff. So, down the road, we started talking again. I got out, I'd bumped into her a couple times, and, everything's all good still. But, it's just that fact, like, stuff like that. I can't never get past that. So that kind of like rules out a person in my life. But, I think it rules out anybody. I mean, you got to figure you can't burn a bridge, and that's kind of like burning a bridge and then double back and then hoping that bridge is still there for you to cross, because it's not going to be, you're going to be gone. The advice that I'd have, if I had any, for somebody getting out of prison, and if you're in a relationship and you kind of like parole into their house or something like that, like, hey, just remember, if you selling your soul for that bedroom, for that little couple dollars when you get out, hey, that is probably the worst thing you could ever do in your life. Don't ever trade your freedom off when you get out here to be with another female, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you got yourself positioned to win. And, a lot of times what you'll see is, bump heads as soon as you get out. You living under interpersonal, areas now. You got to make so many things work. And, I'm telling you, a lot of women turn into those dictators, and you just want to put yourself in a good position to win. So my advice would be, if you're paroling and getting out to a certain kind of female, like, man, make sure that's solid. Because if that's not solid, man, parole somewhere else, because, man, there's too much on the line to risk. If you got to deal with a female that's upset or mad that you don't do this the first time you tell them no. I mean, there's so many scenarios to go about it. But, I'd encourage anybody else, though, once again, to work from the bottom up, grind it out. And at the end of the day, do it yourself. Don't ever look for the handouts. Don't ever look for somebody just to give you something. That shit is dead. Get up early in the morning, grind to the late night and get it, period, point blank. But if y'all like this video, hit that like button, hit that little subscribe button down there. If you really show me some love, I'm going to tap in with y'all next Thursday, and I'm out. If you like this video right here, please show some love and hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe and notification button to stay updated for the latest videos. New videos will be dropping Thursday, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, so please stay tuned.